mysticism of Lord Hanuman.
Om Om Ham Hanumate Namah Om Ham Hanumate Namah Om Atulit Baladhamam Hem Shailabhadeham Danujaban Krishanum Yaninam Agraganyam Sakalagun Nidhanam Vanaranam Adhisham Raghupati Priya Bhaktam Bhatajatam Namami. It's a prayer offered to Lord Hanuman by Tulsidas ji in Ramayana, which means adorations, Lord Hanuman. I adore Lord Hanuman, who is the abode of incomparable strength, whose body shines like a mountain of gold, who is fire unto the forest of demons, means destroyer of demoniac forces, who is the chief among the wise, who is the beloved devotee of Lord Rama, the son of wind god. Hanuman is the most effulgent personality in the realm of gods and goddesses. As you know, all gods and goddesses are different attributes of the divine self. And the art of meditating on Brahman by using any one of those aspects is a very profound art, very practical and flavorful. Lord Hanuman, as you are seeing, is a mighty monkey in a pose that is dynamic. He holds in one hand a mace. In another hand he has a banner, a flag, where there is written Sita Ram. He is glorifying Lord Rama and Sita. Let me give to you the general story relating to Hanuman. When Lord Vishnu decided to incarnate as Rama for the destruction of Ravana, all gods prepared themselves to help Rama, and they incarnated in the form of monkeys. An aspect of Lord Shiva incarnated as Hanuman to serve the cause of Rama. And in a very picturesque type of story, the wind god bestowed his blessings on a monkey couple, Kesharin, also known as Keshari, the father of Hanuman, and Anjana, the mother of Hanuman. By the blessings of wind god, they had a son, Hanuman. Therefore, Hanuman is also known as the son of wind god. It was ancient culture when children born, they are recognized as children of God. It is the basic culture behind the Christianity itself, where you have Mary and Joseph give birth to a child, but the child is considered God's son. And similarly, that type of concept was there. But apart from that, let me move on the story. Hanuman was born with immense power, power beyond human imagination. So the story building up about Hanuman is to show the dynamic aspect of God assisting every individual to do amazing things, things that are inconceivable. So, Anjana Devi, the mother, holding the child in her arm, went to just have entertainment in the forest. And placing the child on the ground, or might be on a tree, she went on to divert herself in some area. Some special flowers had bloomed and she wanted to go there. And while she was involved, absorbed in the beauty of nature, Hanuman felt he was being neglected. He started crying for the mother. And suddenly became very hungry. His cries were like roaring of thunder. It was the mighty force. And seeing nobody was coming to assist him, and looking into the sky, it was just the dawn and sun was about to rise. Beautiful orange red. He said, what a wonderful fruit. The monkey instinct for the fruit. And he bounced into the space with this lightning speed and approached the sun, was about to devour the sun. Just at that time, Rahu, the two demons, they attack the sun, and in God's plan they are allowed to do so. And that's how when this solar eclipse takes place, when Rahu attacks the sun. That story relates to Amrita Manthan, the churning of nectar. When nectar was brought out by the churning process, gods and demons all claimed to have that nectar. They wanted to drink from it. And Lord Vishnu, assuming the form of Mohini, a lady with great enchanting beauty, began to distribute that nectar. But she gave more smiles to the demons and real nectar to the gods. And demons didn't get anything. They realized the plot. One of the demons, assuming the form of a god, disguised himself and sat in the midst of gods. This demon was between sun and the moon. Sun god here, moon god here. And the demon was in between. The sun and the moon gods, they recognized him, they immediately pointed out. And Lord Vishnu cut off his head by his discus. Nevertheless, by this time the nectar had already slipped into his throat. Both parts became personalities that harassed gods and continue to do so. That's a colorful story of solar eclipse and lunar eclipse. The head part of the demon is called Rahu. The body part is called Ketu. The head part tries to attack the sun and is allowed to do so once in a year or twice in a year whenever solar eclipse takes place. And similarly, lunar eclipse. profound mystical implications are there, and I will not go into too much detail, just to understand that it is a story of lack of integration in human personality. You have nothing but head in you and no real action. You are a kind of Rahu. Society has lots of Rahus. Rahu wants to devour the sun. You want all wisdom. Sun represents wisdom. But you can do so only in an apparent way. You cannot really attain wisdom. If you are all head and no body, all head but no action, no integration in your personality, then there are people who are nothing but action, no head. So lots of Ketus, lots of Rahus. The sun and moon both are harassed. Wisdom and devotion, good thinking, good feeling, these are the basics of culture, religion, civilization, and all that. But both become crippled when there are lots of Rahus and lots of Ketus. There's subtle meaning behind it. Now, coming back to Hanuman. Hanuman bounces into the vastness of space. Just at that time, Rahu was to claim that the sun, and seeing some strange personality whose body was shining effulgent was going to devour the sun, Rahu went to Indra. Help me, Indra is the god of the heavenly world. Indra came with riding on an Airavata elephant, and Hanuman, seeing the elephant of Indra, suddenly left the sun, went after to devour the elephant, then wanted to devour somebody else. Indra discharged a thunderbolt, the most powerful weapon that Indra possesses. It struck the child on his chin, and the child fell. All through, the child's father, the wind god, was there to protect the child. And he carried the child softly on the ground. Nevertheless, Hanuman became unconscious, as if he was dead. And then wind god became angry. And immediately, all pranic functions in all living beings stopped. Which means if you don't have pranic functions, you can't digest, you can't eat, and so forth. The entire body becomes clogged all over the world. Immediately, gods approached Brahma, the creator. All great divinities came to that spot where Hanuman was, and they began to plead before wind god to withdraw his anger. And they promised to give boons to the child and bless him. Wind god was appeased. The health of the world was restored. And as a result of this, each god gave a special power to Hanuman. Sun god gave him effulgence. A portion of his light was bestowed upon him. Indra made him invulnerable to his weapon. All the different weapons of gods, they could not affect the child because of their boons. Kubera gave him a big mace that was most powerful weapon that he always carries, the mace. Kubera is god of treasure. And it implies if you have that mace of Hanuman with you, all that deprives you of real wealth, wealth of happiness, wealth of wisdom, that's real wealth. That wealth, all that deprives you, that mace can remove the obstacles. So, only one thing that damage happened to him, his chin became little broken, which is again symbolic. Too much chin means too much ego. A little twisted chin means ego is always curbed. Hanuman represents sadhana shakti, the power generated by spiritual discipline. Discipline characterized by integration of yogas. In Hanuman, there is a personification of wisdom. As a child, again the story goes on telling that after he was bestowed all those blessings, he was united with his mother, and he was given the opportunity of receiving the highest wisdom from the sun god. The parents began to think, who will teach my child? And wind god had the highest authority in that he was the real father. He led Hanuman to learn from the sun god himself. And so as the sun journeyed from east to west, Hanuman will sit on his chariot listening to the wisdom of the Vedas, the Vedanta. Again, the sun represents cosmic mind or intellect that is intuitional. Hanuman's wisdom comes from that source. And the story that even in his early days as a child he bounced into the sky, it simply implies from a profounder point of view that if your mind has caught the light of intuition, your desire in the world will not be to stay accumulating karmas, but you will develop aspiration for attaining liberation, to break the relativity of birth and death. And that is symbolic. Sun, from a limited point of view, represents all that is in the world of relativity. But here comes a child wisdom in its infancy, pure wisdom. He looks at the sun and wants to devour it. Implies he wants to transcend this entire world of glitter and glamour. It is also a custom, a kind of old tradition. When a person is given sannyasa or renunciation, after he receives initiation, he looks up to the sun and sees the sun trembling before him. His wisdom is going to transcend that sun. As long as you are within the range of the sun, you are in a world of time and space. But the moment you have purity of heart and a mind in a highly spiritualized state, you develop that aspiration. That aspiration is launching into the vastness of the world, as it were, to devour the sun. However, that aspiration is gradually to be fulfilled. It is not in one movement you don't attain enlightenment. So it is a dramatization. As a very child, he looks up to the sun and he wants to devour it. The moment you become a spiritual aspirant, you have done the same thing. Hanuman is born within you. And you want to devour or you want to transcend the entire world of different pleasures, of different possibilities. All the lokas you want to step beyond. That's called vairagya. Vairagya develops. So, that's about Hanuman and his early days. Endowed with immense power, Hanuman, and having no purpose for that power. That's a disastrous situation. Hanuman became havoc maker for the sages in the ashram nearby. He would just go into the ashram. He didn't know why he was so fascinated by them. He went into the forest. Instead of staying far and deep into the forest, they would go near the ashrams. And suddenly, just out of fun, lift up someone's kutir with one finger, destroy all their vessels, and did so many commotions that first the sages endured him, knowing that he was created for the purpose of Rama. But then they could not endure him anymore. So they pronounced a curse on him that until you are awakened to the purpose of Rama, all this knowledge that you have and the power will stay dormant. But when you recall it, by in proper atmosphere, when Rama's purpose is to be fulfilled, you will remember them, but not now. Hanuman then became a powerful monkey who came into the service of Bali. At that time he was the king of monkeys. And Bali's brother Sugriva became his great friend. Sugriva and Hanuman, they remain very close. And Bali, that story I will not go into details, to look into the Ramayana. Bali became inimical to his own brother, irrationally, and wanted to kill him. Hanuman took Sugriva to an ashram that where Bali could not enter. That again is a story where sage had cursed Bali. He would not, if he were to enter, he will die. So that place was safe. So Sugriva with some of his ministers and companions stayed in that spot safely. Hanuman has at that time, later Rama had asked sage Agastya, how is it Hanuman, who had so much power, why didn't he help Sugriva?
Yes.
And Agastya replied that Hanuman had all that power, but he didn't know it. Bali continued to harass Sugriva, but Sugriva now was safe. Later in the story of Rama, when Sita was kidnapped by Ravana and Rama goes on in the forest with Lakshmana, he was advised by Shabari to meet Sugriva and become friends. So when Rama and Lakshmana were moving towards Rishyamukh mountains, Sugriva saw them and sent Hanuman to discover who were they and what was their purpose. And eventually Hanuman recognizes Rama as the incarnation of the self, divine self, and offering his adorations to him, he invites Rama and Lakshmana, rather carries them on his shoulders and bouncing through space, he brought Rama and Lakshmana before Sugriva. And Sugriva became great friends with Rama. So thus Hanuman created the possibility of Rama's victory over Ravana. Later Hanuman is sent to find Sita, and he had to cross the ocean. Among all the monkeys, Hanuman was the most equipped and most... At that time, when all the monkey army, a portion of the army, waiting by the ocean, all puzzled, confounded, they were informed that Sita is across the ocean in an island called Lanka. But no one had that courage. Even Hanuman was dumbfounded. At that time, Jambavan, the bear personality, he is also the divine forces incarnated as monkeys and bears. The monkeys and bears are again symbolic. All the mind and senses, the energy that flows through them, is compared to monkeys. The monkey will never rest quiet. But only time it is quiet when it is hibernating bear. But the bears don't lose their negative qualities by hibernation. So some of your energy gets in hibernation, gets suppressed deep in the unconscious. An energy that is operative is the monkey energy. The energy that has both. It hibernates as well as expresses in a more drastic way. The monkeys have a little playful way of handling things, but bears don't. But both are the energies operating through human being. Jambavan in Ramayana story is that personality who is highly enlightened. And he is incarnation of Brahma, the creator. He reminds Hanuman, "Oh Hanuman, you are not an ordinary personality. As a child, you bounced into this space to devour the sun. All gods have bestowed their blessings on you." And when he heard all that, Hanuman suddenly had that recollection that I am not an ordinary monkey. That is spiritual awakening that took place in him. This entire setting is figurative. Hanuman-like potentiality lies in everyone. Every soul is Brahman. There is no discrimination about it. However, you need to practice sadhana. And a spiritual preceptor is the reminder of what you are. And your whole spiritual discipline and living a spiritual life is a process of discovering that memory, what scriptures call dhruva smriti, sudden recollection, intuitional way that I am not an individual limited by time and space. I am the absolute self. However, the recollection has various stages. So Hanuman represents that type of recollection, awakened by Guru's grace. Suddenly he realizes I can cross beyond the ocean. That ocean represents the gulf between your conscious mind and the unconscious. The Rama's mission is to enter the unconscious, discover Sita. Sita is intellect, kept confined by the three demoniac personalities, three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. Sattva is Vibhishan, rajas is Ravana, tamas is Kumbhakarna. And Hanuman, that power, crosses over the ocean. And as you know, he finds Sita, and afterwards he causes the destruction of Lanka. Ravana wants to punish him and torture him to death. So he had his tail bandaged with all clothes, etc., and all type of combustible fluids put into it and then set on fire. But Hanuman converted all this to his advantage. He was immune to fire. Already all the blessings he had. He allowed his tail to grow, and with that blazing tail he set Lanka on fire. The entire Lanka was overhauled by Hanuman. Again, that is all the demoniac potentiality lies in the mind, unconscious. But for vast majority of people, there is a tremendous gulf between their conscious mind and their unconscious. People move on with a superficial mind, life after life. The vast extension of your mind remains beyond your reach. But therein lies the secret of your real spiritual advancement. That when you start practicing sadhana, devotion, meditation, doing good deeds, karma yoga, reflecting upon the nature of the self, when 4 yogas are integrated, that Hanuman is being awakened within you, that Hanuman allows you to cross over that ocean. Rather, that Hanuman crosses over the ocean and brings a change in the unconscious. That's in the process of spiritual advancement. Your unconscious is targeted. Therefore, the change that occurs in you by spiritual practice is profounder. Otherwise, you go on changing. If you become a professor with great achievement, you get a title from university. And when you put it on your office, you feel changed. Superficial change. You change. You have a lot of money, you have Rolls Royce to ride in, you have wonderful neckties and wonderful coats. That's change. But when your unconscious changes, that's the real change. Otherwise, we are changing outwardly, constantly, but which is meaningless. So that's the implication of Hanuman going into and creating a fire. When you start practicing yoga very sincerely, Hanuman force goes into your unconscious and creates a basis for creating Shubh Samskaras, positive impressions. All the negative impressions from countless lives begin to tremble by that force. And that sets up a basis for further movement in spirituality. Like he brings the message to Rama. And Rama then organizes the monkey army and crosses over the ocean. And the Rama confronts the demons, and Abhibhishana joins him and all that. You see, all the details. I'm not going through, but the idea is Hanuman opens that process of allowing Rama to become the conqueror, the victorious. Rama eventually conquers Ravana. So that is the symbolism of Hanuman. Afterwards, when Rama, there again, Hanuman had the power to destroy Ravana anytime he wanted. But he limited his power so that Rama may accomplish his task. And Rama's story may become a basis for people to develop devotion. That's called Leela. Even Rama had the power to destroy Ravana within a moment. But then there will be no story. The stories of all that allow you to get your mind more and more deeply involved. Otherwise, with one single move teaching, the Guru has to simply say, All this is false. Brahman is real. You are Brahman. Finished. Satsang is over. But you have to get at that wisdom through many interesting ways which can touch your life. So Hanuman, with amazing power, kept his power under control. Also behind it is the special traditional understanding that a devotee expresses greater power than God, because devotee's power can touch people. God's power is everywhere. God is like the sun shining all over. Devotee is like the sun's rays being concentrated through a magnified glass. Therefore, that power that emerges through a devotee, God's power manifesting through saints and sages, that excels God's power. Figurative way of saying. Therefore, in one of the songs of Kabira, Guru Govind Dono Kare, Kake Lagu Paun, Kabira says, suddenly two persons came before me, God and Guru. For a moment I had that confusion. Whom should I worship first? Immediately I had the answer. I must first worship the Guru, because he showed me God. So Hanuman represents that type of divine energy that is dynamic, leading you to Rama. Story of Hanuman extends into Mahabharata also. In Mahabharata, where Rama is now in the form of Krishna, same God. And there, equivalent of Hanuman is Bhima. He is also son of wind god. One of the Pandavas is at a strength of 10,000 elephants. During the time when divine plan was arranging for the battle between Pandavas and Kauravas, Hanuman episode comes in. The story is that Bhima was sent by Draupadi to find a special lotus that was blown by the wind to her from the north. Hanuman goes towards the north to find it. And on the way he finds, in the most inaccessible areas in the mountains, his path was blocked by a big monkey. The monkey just lay lazily with mighty tail constantly whipping everything around. Yawning was like thunder. That was Hanuman, who was the brother of Bhima, wanted to test Bhima and to bless Bhima. But that's the way he introduced himself to Bhima. Bhima saw him and said, "Oh monkey, give me paths, let me go." He said, "I'm too old, too sick. So you can just cross over me and go ahead." And Bhima said, "No. God abides in everyone, and I will not insult that God by crossing over." That's a Hindu tradition again. If someone is lying down, you don't cross over the person. It's considered an insult to God. No matter whatever situation a person may be in, you must realize that is God within. Reverence that. Even if you see enemy or worse personality lying down, or any creature, dogs and cats, you don't cross over or kick a person. So then, Bhima says, "Hanuman, if you don't give me, I will pick you up and thrash you." And Hanuman said, what can I do? Do whatever you want. Hanuman, Bhima, who was always so proud, suddenly became angry and wanted to catch hold of his tail and really to thrash him. But he could not handle his tail. His tail, he could not pick it up. He didn't have the strength enough. He did exercise all his power until blood started flowing through his nose. And then suddenly realized that he was dealing with a divine presence. He folded his hands and said, who are you? Hanuman said, I am your brother, son of wind god in Rama's time. I've come to bless you. And he gives him various teachings. Then at that time, Bhima asked Hanuman, I would like to see, what was your form in Rama's time? And Hanuman shows a gigantic, immense form. And Bhima was quite startled. Then he again resumed his ordinary form. At that time, Bhima asked him, how is it that you did not kill Ravana? You had all that power. And that's when he says, oh Bhima, because our whole plan was to highlight the story of Rama. He had the same power that Rama had because they are both one. But in his aspect, he was to give credit to Rama. And therefore all monkeys and bears, they kept their powers under control, especially Hanuman. Then afterwards, Hanuman says to Bhima, if you wish, I can destroy these Kauravas in a moment and give the Pandavas their kingdom. And Bhima says, please don't do that. Again, give credit to Krishna and all the Pandavas. Because Krishna's Leela was there. The Krishna had to help the Pandavas. And also, the importance of understanding that you must attain your goal by self-effort, blended with grace. Your goal should not be given to you as a divine gift. Your goal must be your achievement. And that's an important point. Otherwise, life will not have any majesty about it. You wanted to do something and somebody gives to you. You never do it. There is a story about it. This person who became saint later on in his early days, he was desirous of having academic knowledge. But for that one has to read books, and for reading books one has to have light during the night. And he didn't have even that much money to pay for some oil to burn his lamp. One day he went to sleep in a state of grief. And suddenly an angel appeared before him in his dream and said, "O child, I am going to help you. Ask, what do you want? You want to gain all that knowledge? Open your mouth and I will spit into it the entire knowledge." He says, please don't do that. Let me attain that knowledge. But give me the boon that I must have all the necessities like oil in the lamp, and give me proper circumstances for doing so. So that's the idea that when Hanuman asked Bhima that I will help you, Bhima said, please give your blessings. And Hanuman then said that he will be present in the chariot of Arjuna. There will be monkey banner. That's why most people in India, they have banners. They have a big flag in every home on the flag there is a picture of Hanuman. Where Hanuman is guiding. But then, coming to the Mahabharata setting, Hanuman began to dwell in the banner, like a big flag that comes out of the chariot. And each time when Krishna blew his conch, or Arjuna began to twang his bow, Hanuman will thundered, and that terrified the enemies. And for Hanuman, Krishna was always Rama. He didn't see him as Krishna, he saw him as Rama. That again is the flavor of mysticism. That you approach same God but by your Ishta mantra. If your Ishta mantra is Rama, then God is always Rama. If your Ishta mantra is Shiva, then God is always Shiva. If Ishta mantra is Devi, then God is always Devi. So that's the philosophy behind it. And also, when Rama began the king, at one time he asks Hanuman, "Oh Hanuman, tell me, how am I related to you?" And that's famous saying, "Deha buddhyatu dasoham." From the point of view of physical body, I am your slave, you are the master. That's the basis of karma yoga. Always, as long as you have body, you must work. But your work should be in the spirit of, I am doing the will of God, not your will. You're trying to find what God wants me to do. Be in accord with God by pursuing virtue. If you are righteous, you have a touch with God within you and you know what is right and wrong. So therefore, doing the will of God, that one aspect. Deha buddhyatu dasoham. Jiva buddhyat vadanshaka. From the point of view of the soul, individual soul, that concept of the soul comes in because of the mind, because of the conditioned mind. I am a part of God. I am a ray and God is the sun. That aspect is developing devotion. I am a ray, God is the light. I am a wave, God is the ocean. This gives rise to two types of yoga, bhakti and dhyana. Bhakti, be devotional. Discover boundless love of God. That again is the predominating feature of Hanuman. Wherever Ramayana is recited, Hanuman is present. It is a story told that Hanuman was given the boon by death. The death will not approach him. And Hanuman acceded to it that he will continue to be in the world as long as the name of Rama, the name of God is recited. So wherever satsanga is there, Hanuman is somewhere there. In other words, that mighty power is waiting to assist you and can do amazing things. And then this verse says, Atma buddhya tavaivaham esha me nishchitamati. From the point of view of the innermost self, I am you. So therefore there are threefold relation with God. I am an instrument of God. Deha buddhya. From the body point of view, I am his slave. A mind point of view, I am his devotee. And from innermost point of view, I am that. And all these three relations have to be brought in daily life. That's called integral yoga, which puts you, simple way, action, emotion, will and reason. Karma yoga, bhakti yoga, devotion, dhyana yoga, meditation, jnana yoga, wisdom. Integrate these four And that's the personality of Hanuman is coming to you. But apart from all that, spiritual, mystical presentations have another aspect, helping you in your practical life. For example, if you have terrible headache, toothache, turn to Hanuman. You are facing a challenging situation, you don't know what to do. And your reason tells you there is no answer to it. Turn to Hanuman aspect of Brahman. And Hanuman within you will create situations and circumstances that will allow you to overcome it in a miraculous way. So Hanuman is called Sankata Haran. When you are placed in most puzzling situation that confounds your mind, if you are devotee of Hanuman, suddenly that flash of understanding will dawn. Suddenly something will happen and will cross over it. So may you receive the blessings of Lord Hanuman, and Lord Hanuman may remove all impediments leading you to Rama, the divine self. Om Shanti Shanti.